former federal judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit. He joins me now. Judge Luttig, so much has happened since then. I thank you again for your service to the country, but it's evolved, right? Back then, you were talking about what the Constitution allowed the vice president to do as it related to the transition of power. Now, you have recently, since I think August 19th, taken up the cause of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution about whether or not Donald Trump is eligible to run for the presidency of the United States. And in the couple of weeks since you and I have still last talked, so much has happened. You may have just heard my conversation with the Colorado Secretary of State. The Supreme Court is on February 8th going to take up this matter. I'd love your thoughts on that.
Thank you, Ali. This issue was always destined for the Supreme Court of the United States, and obviously the court itself understands the momentous importance of the Colorado case for the country. This will be one of the most consequential Supreme Court decisions for both American democracy and for American politics since the founding of the nation. Ali, the genius of the Constitution is that it belongs to the people of the United States. It belongs to the American people. The Constitution is the great charter of our self-governance, and it majestically begins, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, do ordain and establish this Constitution." This is one of the rarest moments in constitutional history where literally millions upon millions of Americans are interested in and riveted on the meaning of their Constitution. Every American can read the single sentence of the disqualification clause of the 14th Amendment and understand that the former president violated the Constitution when he attempted to remain in power after his four-year term had lapsed, preventing the peaceful transfer of power to his successor for the first time in American history. Very often, Ali, the meaning of the Constitution is as plain to the people, if not more so, than it is to the Supreme Court of the United States. This is one of those times. The framers of the 14th Amendment envisioned precisely this moment when they wrote the disqualification clause of the 14th Amendment. The moment when, despite losing a presidential election, a president of the United States would attempt to remain in the presidency beyond his four-year term and prevent the peaceful transfer of power to his successor, who had been elected by the American people. It is this violation of the Constitution that constitutes an insurrection or rebellion against the Constitution of the United States within the plain meaning of the 14th Amendment. The disqualification clause is perhaps the most democratic provision in the Constitution, Ali. By the same token, it's the disqualification clause of the Constitution that tells us that an insurrection or rebellion against the Constitution is perhaps the most anti-democratic conduct possible in our democracy.